There's only one painting here that doesn't have a label on it. I think most of you know which painting I'm referring to, right? The very first painting that leads you into the rest of the exhibition is a very small painting with a yellow background, and it's the only painting without a label. I thought that you might want to say a little bit about that painting.
Portrait of the artist's father. That's the name of it. My father was a painter, and since he taught me painting, when he passed away, that's the only language I knew that he would be able to understand. He would understand that language. He was a painter. So that was my response to his departure. On purpose, it all happened. I think the background to be yellow, like being the color of ultimate light, burning forever. I chose a photograph. Yeah, I could share with you a bit more. He had cancer, so through the last months he was going through much suffering. The very last photos of him were not very beautiful. But that photo that I used, I looked at to paint this portrait for him and for my family to see. That photo was taken at a birthday party, his last birthday that they celebrated. There was a birthday cake on the table in front of him. It happened by itself. I somehow did not paint that cake, that birthday cake with those candles. And later I realized that I did not want those candles to burn and finish. I wanted him to live forever. I wanted to celebrate with him the life he lived.
Yeah, I think that was painted quite soon after he passed on. I wanted to talk a bit more about the motifs that has come into your paintings, actually. And I don't know whether you have, I don't know whether looking at the paintings you have began to sort of also look at it and read some of the text that's gone on it. The leaf finds itself in a lot of the paintings, right? And from the leaf, then the Komil wanted to really explain a bit more about the significance of the cypress and the paisley, pote in did I say it correct? Pote in Persian, and the importance of that. So actually, I just wanted to before I wanted to talk about a few of the other paintings, but this question just came up, and I thought I'll ask this first. I mean, observing your art for the past few years, it's easy for me to say that yes, it has changed. I see that physically, the change happening. But how has the journey changed you?
I think the recent theme, the shape of the leaf, a leaf. I always liked leaves, I think now that I think about it, it's because they are so unwanted.
The ones that fall.
Yeah, exactly. They are unwanted. And I identify with that. As a human being in this world, it's never enough. It's never prepared. It's never. So that's the shape of the leaf, but from that shape, I search deeper in my visual memory, what I recollect, the shape of the leaf. Why is it that it is so special? Because it is the shape of a flame, and that's very important to me. And also because later I realized, I knew that, but it had to take me so much time to realize that it is the shape of the cypress too. Why cypress? Why Persian heritage? Why Persian story? I never wanted to do that. I was more interested in Western art. Why Persian theme appeared?
Coming back, you've kind of come full circle and somehow realized that you were always, and I think forever, going to be tied to that is your roots, really, isn't it?
I think at some point I started to care more about what is going on. I was caught by this, by the history of Iran, and I realized that it really matters to me. So it's been a calling, it's my passion to contribute to that. To that struggle that has been going on for a long time. So it all, I think, yeah, I did my part, but it happened by itself. So it is perhaps using the struggle itself is using me to be addressed. So I stopped painting what I want to paint, and I started painting in hope, right? What I should paint. Maybe my work can contribute to a change that through painting, I'm inspired. Through painting, I get inspired that it is possible. You know, painting is a reality it is very powerful. It works right there when all you know is, I think much of it is through your eyes, what you see, you believe. And a painter's job is to be there.
I think that brings us really nicely to the quote that we've chosen to put on the wall by Picasso: "To paint is to destroy." I think there might be a lot of us here who are a bit puzzled about what that really means to you. And to me, I think it's about destroying everything that we think we know about a subject, about an idea, and everything we know about painting. Picasso, I think, was one of those guys who he could, if you look at, from 14 years old, he could paint like a professional, and he did amazingly realistic art. a lot of us don't know about that part of him, but it's taken him that lifetime of perfecting a technique and destroying it, and perfecting an idea and destroying it, and perfecting a medium and destroying it, to get to where he eventually became. But what are your thoughts? I mean, what inspired you to put that up on the wall?
Yeah, I don't like destructions. I don't. How I read that, how I understand that quote, what Picasso said, to paint is to destroy. Anything new that you want to create, you will have to destroy certain things. So you better think of it that way. So it is to destroy. You need to know what is this tool in your hand.
So there was something else I wanted to ask, but it's kind of escaped me now. So I was thinking, okay, let's instead of me asking so many questions, I think maybe we should get someone from the floor to ask a question. Does anyone have a question? Yeah, it's Rama.
Yeah, tonight I actually need the mic. Very simple question. You talked about, seeing through the eyes, but I have a kind of a reflection on that. And the question is, I know you've painted a lot of portraits. A lot of people's portraits have been painted by you. So the question that I have for you is, what are the most interesting eyes? There's a book called Rembrandt's Eyes, you've probably seen it. What are the most interesting eyes that you have painted?
Thank you, Ramon. So yes, I have painted a lot of portraits. A lot of faces, and all those who draw or those who practice drawing, they know that the eyes are the most important parts in the face. The eyes have to be real. I've been reflecting on that. The eyes. How would I describe eyes, and what are the most interesting pair of eyes, human eyes, that I have painted? I think eyes, being eyes, is interesting. So, eyes are the most interesting parts of anyone. And it made me think of what we say as the eye of the beholder. So, it's the eyes of everyone. It's so special. Anything special about it is because of that individuality of them. And that's what I find interesting. That I think the most interesting eyes to me, if I answer to that question honestly, from my point of view, the most interesting pair of eyes I've been fascinated with is my own eyes. You're right? It's my own. They have been really, wow. I've been fascinated. So I do hear too. I love music. I love my ears too. How they work. But my eyes, I've been, wow. They have made it very difficult for me. Yeah. So.
You know, one of the things I've noticed about when you tell me about Persian poetry Persian music, and quite a lot of the music that I've heard you play, when you come over to our place on Spotify and all that, is there seems to be always this sense of longing in even the pop music, the pop Persian music. There always seems to me, I can't understand what they're singing about, but there always seems to be this sense of longing in them. And I see that same sense of longing coming out in your paintings. I don't know how to phrase this question. Is there anything you want to say about it?
I exactly know what you mean. Thank you for that wonderful question. That longing is to want to, trying to fill in the blank. Trying, that it's not fine. It's not just, yeah, it's fine, everything is fine. No, it's not so. And that is passion, that you long for something that is not. That longing, not necessarily for something that is lost, but something that can be. Longing for something to be. That passion, the other name for it is passion. It is the core of what I do. So for me, painting is longing, is belonging as well, and it's passion.
Someone has a question.
Hi. If you're able to choose, would you be a green or yellow leaf?
Thank you, brother. If I were to choose, I would choose to be a yellow leaf. That would mean that once I was green too. Yes, so I had seen it all.
I remember this thing that you said when you did this art workshop once. Remember the Van Gogh painting, like Van Gogh style workshop, and you were mixing paints and you were trying to show people how to get certain colors. And I think you were trying to, I don't know whether it was because you had too many beers but I thought it was a really profound thing you said, that you said something like, there's so many things that are poison in this world, but yellow will always be yellow.
I was running an art workshop, painting workshop, and yes, I was trying to explain. That what is painting, what you do when you paint. That I said there are so many things that are poisoned in this world, that you don't really want to touch them. But when you paint, you're dealing with, you're using, you're working with the colors, the paint, yellow, the color blue. And the yellow is still yellow after all this time. And everything is manipulated, everything is murdered, we have lost everything. But the color yellow can still be yellow. If you refer to your instincts, if you refer to your nature, your good nature, you will see blue, and you would recognize and you would work with. So that's what painting is. Brings us back to basic, and provides for us a space, to explore right from the beginning. Again, anytime I paint a canvas, anytime I start a canvas, it's the beginning of time for me.
It's a question that needs to be asked, I think. Although because I think there are also other artists among us here, and I think this question, and photographers and designers, and I think this question gets asked a lot. So I'm interested to know how you respond when people ask this. People always want to, when they look at a piece of art, they always say, but what does it mean? Yeah.
I I can't help much there, but I can tell you what it really means. Means somebody stood there in front of a surface, in front of a canvas and painted. That's what it means.
Yeah. To me, I feel that it's not really that important what it means. What's more important is how it made you feel. And yeah, and some paintings don't make me feel anything. And you know, I always believe that you don't buy a painting finds you and speaks to you.
I would like to share this, what again Picasso said. When you listen, when you hear a bird singing, you don't think what it means, what he is singing, what that bird is singing, what it means. You enjoy it. Same way, you got to look at art. It is someone singing.
And I think likewise when you listen to a classic composition, when you listen to a piece by Beethoven, you don't really say, well, in what context did he paint it and what did he really mean? You just get into it, right? And I think very much in all arts, in poetry as well, we especially love the kind of poetry that you never quite understand completely what the poet's trying to say. I really liked what you wrote in Facebook the other day. I think this morning, right, I saw you said something like, Komil, you're the first poet I know who doesn't use any words. So you use paint, feelings, expressions on strokes.
Yeah, and we have these things, when we, let's say, when we think of God, we don't say what he meant, what it means. We walk towards the table with certain manners. First thing, not ask questions. To me, not that viewers would, if they could think what they mean. Sometimes I myself, I don't know what a painting means to me. I don't dare to ask that question, what it is. What would I know? What do I know? Sometimes it allows me to know.
So that process, right? I mean, sometimes as a result of that, some paintings come out of you, like it just has to come out, and it comes out in 45 minutes, in an hour, and it just comes out, right? And some paintings need to be loved and caressed, and sometimes like a lover, it needs to be left for a while because it's angry with you or it doesn't want to talk to you, and you need to stare at it for a bit longer, right? And sometimes some paintings take a really long time of needing that space, almost like, so it's almost like I see, like sometimes you have this relationship with your with the paintings in that way. How shall we finish this? Shall we ask if there's one more question, maybe, and then in the meantime you think about how you want to finish this? Can we have one more question? Oh. Oh, sorry. Were you going to ask something? Okay, can she answer? Ladies first, huh?
Komil, congratulations, first of all. Throughout the whole conversation, I think even with the leaf, even with roots, time is what it takes for a tree to build a leaf, for it to build roots. What's your relationship with time? As an artist, as a creative, how does time work for you?
Yeah. When you're an artist, when you do something that they used to do, when you do something that you have other human beings living in different times, different centuries, 500 years ago, 1,000 years ago, 35,000 years ago in cave, they painted pictures on the walls. So that is a great identity. So you identify with them. And in that hope, you can think of future. maybe your work can be communicating of something that is so eternal to us here.
Before we end, I think before we finish it off, I think maybe you'd like to take some time to acknowledge the huge amount of love that's kind of been, sort of from various people. That's many people that's kind of made this possible. I was reminded by Amin wanted to ask a question about the improvisation. Yeah, definitely. But before we do that, we're in a cafe, we're in a bistro called Improv, and I think just wanted to just honor the management of Improv who have this was never just about just co-promoting this amazing space that they have, but the owners have just very, very generously opened their hearts as well and their space to the art and to co-host this event. Without their generosity, this amazing night would not have happened. So definitely huge thank you to the musicians and to friends who have come here to help take photos and just given a lot of love. I think, yeah, you want to.
Yeah, I want to thank you all for coming here. You helped it to be created. Before coming here, before walking in that spirit, remember imagining you visiting here, seeing these works, I created these paintings. So thank you. That's the great contribution. That is the great contribution. The one that comes from you, each one of you. Of course, there has been a team here. Improv Bistro, great. This is their creation too. They are very passionate about this. So it was kind of, everything was very smooth. So I would like to thank them a lot.
Yeah. Let's give them a big hand. Thank you. It's always an interesting journey and a big challenge, I think, to put something you're passionate about into a business. And I think the management here have done a really good job. But one of the greatest gifts we can give to a restaurant, if we like them, is to give our personal recommendations. So if you like this space, and if you can imagine doing something here, I think they're always open to ideas. This is a space that's not just a restaurant, but also a great place for coffee and discussion and paintings and books, and it's just it's a great gathering space for in many ways, for performances as well. So do approach a member of staff if you are interested in any ideas you have about doing something here as well, or give them. Yeah. Okay. I mean, wanted to. I don't know, I think maybe you need to phrase it. I mean, felt it was important to talk about the improvisational process that's in your work, I think. Is that how? I mean, you've been observing his work, you've been going to his studio and taking photos and observing him paint. So I think that's probably what prompted the question, right?
improvisation is an acknowledgement of another presence, that it's not me, that I can let go of my own thoughts, ideas, and acknowledge that there is someone, something that's gonna take care of my next move. Thank you. Wonderful question.
Yeah, just trusting that, it's not, exactly. Yeah, I don't need to say anything more. Okay, yeah, is there anything else? Is there any painting that we want to talk about here? Before there are two paintings which maybe need a little, would benefit from a little bit more background story. One of them is the one that says it's dedicated to those who took over and destroyed and took over and burnt books, who took over cultures and burnt their books. It was very interesting because we were talking about, is it in memory of, I asked that question, right? But you said you were quite insistent that it was dedicated to those who did this act of burning books throughout history. We were talking about how to put that thing there, right? And you said this painting is dedicated to those who, the perpetrators, the ones who took part in this act of taking over a culture and burning their books, burning their knowledge. Not dedicated to them and not dedicated to the memory of.
It's what Jesus said, don't fight with the same sword. Yeah, don't fight, don't draw your sword out. Don't fight with the same weapon. Don't pick the same thing. So that's why a heart is appearing there. That's the gentle response. It's always more wise.
The flame is beautiful because the fire is blameless. It's something that destroys, yes, but it's also something that purifies.
That I count on your own understanding. That flame is not the flame that I refer to in the title. What burns book, not that flame. That is a symbolic flame there. It is the one that looks like a leaf. It means knowledge. It means wisdom. It means light. That's the flame.
And so finally, the last painting I wanted to talk about is the one that is a single orange form on a dark background. And accompanying that painting is the text that says, "The day will come when a single orange, freshly observed, will start a revolution." A single carrot. What did I just say? Sorry, did I say? I'm so sorry. Okay, it can be an orange, a carrot, but I think it. But and I like that you titled it orange, even though you painted a carrot.
Yeah, it is. Where is it that you call an orange an orange? What is an orange? Where is it that you call a carrot a carrot? Where is it? Where are you who call a carrot a carrot? So you have power over that, over the context. You can create a new context. You can create. That's, I think, what Cezanne meant, being the father of modern art, the transition between 19th century and 20th century. What is the difference between 19th century art and 20th century art? 19th century art is representative of the world. 20th century art is abstraction. It's cubism. It's not what I see, what I think, what I am. Picasso said, it's not what the artist does, but who the artist is that counts. So that is my homage to Cézanne, who started as a philosopher and a painter, thinking that the day will come when a single carrot will set off, the day will come when a single carrot freshly observed will set off a revolution. In what way? What did he mean? A single carrot freshly observed for yourself. The individuality in art, that's the basis of 20th century art. That's my homage to Cézanne. And creation at all.
Thank you very much for your patience and attention.